Hello and welcome to the next installment of our top 5 videos. Today we're joined by the GOAT, BogOnMyDog, to discuss the top 5 exotic weapons in each slot. You guys may have just seen our previous video talking about the top 5 legendaries, and today we're going to be diving into the exotics and kind of which ones are the biggest game changers in Destiny 2 right now. Bog, you may know from the most recent Marathon ARG, where he and Mr. Raffle Waffles and Scarrow and several others spearheaded the community puzzles to unlock the Marathon Alpha release trailer. And then we also may know him from Solo Witness, the first to ever do it, the absolute GOAT. Bog, thank you for joining me today, brother. What's good?
What's good, bro? How we doing?
I'm chilling, dude. I'm excited for Marathon Alpha on Wednesday, dude. Like counting down the hours. I know everybody watching this video is probably not a huge extraction shooter fan. I'm excited. See what Bungie's been cooking. Bog and I are teaming up. You know, we've got the diapers ready. We got the food ready. We're gonna be full grind mode, no bathroom breaks. It's gonna be incredible. Without any further ado, we've got the kinetic energy and heavy slot. We have not seen each other's lists, just like we did with the video with Llama a few days ago. So if you can give me your number 5 weapon in the kinetic slot, what would it be?
Yeah, so my number 5 is Outbreak Perfected. It's a good exotic primary. It's the best it's the best primary DPS weapon, like in a fire team, basically, I think, at least.
Yep.
But like just for general use, it's also good. So it fills that niche of like, if you're completely out of ammo, which doesn't really happen anymore, but if it did happen, then you've got that option.
Yeah.
And then just for like general, like I mean, I've used it for ad clear, and it's kind of good. So
yeah,
that's why it's my number 5.
It's like the ultimate workhorse exotic. I totally get that pick. I think it's also the flexibility as well. Like, it's just, there's so many good perks that you can craft on it now. But yeah, I mean, like you said, in day ones where like you ran out of ammo and your team like has no other choice, people literally set up like hot swaps to Outbreak, and it's pretty viable. Like, it could definitely save you. And it's just, overall, it's so good in GMs too. Like, it's usually there's some sort of pulse rifle mod or something that ends up being crazy, and Outbreak is always like the number 1 pick during those seasons. So yeah, Outbreak is an amazing weapon. My number 5, I actually went with Izanagi's Burden. This one's just personal affinity to me. A lot of people may not have Izzy on their list anymore. I still think it's in the conversation of the top 5 because, to be honest, like when I was going through this list, I think the energy slot and the heavy slot are absolutely loaded with god tier exotics. I honestly found the kinetic slot kind of hard to put a top 5 together. I don't know if you experience the same thing. Not that there aren't good weapons, but I'm like, maybe it's just like the legendary weapons we're using in those slots are majorly overshadowing the exotics in this slot right now. But and that could change just kind of as the game evolves, you know, ebbs and flows, different balance patches, whatever. But yeah, I have Izzy number 5. I kind of found it hard to place 5 really god tier weapons here. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah, they're on. I mean, as you said, like, there are just really, really good energy and power, like, exotics that we're using right now. And I feel like there's also just, like, a lot of overlap in the kinetic slot. Like, you know, one exotic might be kind of, like, the better version of, like, 3 others. Just think of, like, I don't know, exotic hand cannons. Like, they're all sort of, like, very similar to me. They're all samey. Except in, like, PvP, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah, I mean, so Izzy for me, just like the quad round honed edge shot. First of all, one of the best like audio cues in the whole game. Like, it's so good, the design team on that. But I mean, it's been relevant, and honestly, like, even though it's not used as many damage rotations these days, it still does like make its appearance in a few damage rotations. And I mean, you could take it anywhere. I mean, people don't use it as much anymore, but it's still insanely good. Like, it's super powerful, it's very unique, and you can only really get what Izzy does with Izzy. There's not like a substitute for it, I guess. So I guess I factor uniqueness in for the exotics as well as like a determining factor. But Yeah, for me, I mean, it's just been a weapon I've loved for so long, and it's still really powerful. So that's my number 5. What about your 4-3-2?
Yeah, so I've got Izzy at 4 because of exactly what you said. It's the only gun in the game that can do what it can do. It's very unique. Like, if you need to kill something with a headshot in one shot, it's the gun to do it. I've got Elithinum at 3. It's literally a primary mountaintop. Like,
Yep.
this gun is so OP. I don't understand. It also makes like ammo out of thin air, which is just crazy. But anyway.
Yeah.
And then I've got Kvostov at number 2. I was actually gonna put Kvostov at 1 because I think this gun is like super underrated, and it's like it is by far the best exotic primary weapon in the game, like 100% hands down. But look, you just have to wait and see what my number 1 slot is. But I couldn't pass it up.
No, I mean, that's totally fair, honestly. I would, I think for me, I'm kind of surprised that you had Izzy on there, dude. And the other two options, like, I thought I was just an Izzy enjoyer. I guess, are there any damage rotations that you see it, like, still used in? Or, like, I guess, would it be, like, a non-hunter damage rotation, I guess? Or where do you see that used the most?
So, like, and I'll talk about Sleeper because Sleeper's not, I guess that's a spoiler, but, like, it's kind of like Sleeper in the way that it's, like, single shot, like, really, really high damage is just good. It's just good and safe. So, like, as much as I wouldn't really use it in a damage rotation, like, per se,
yeah, you
can just sort of slot it into a damage rotation and it'll work every time, just because it's just really high single shot damage.
Yeah.
But I will put it on there because of the neutral game. Like, just being able to one shot something is really good.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Okay. No, and honestly, the other ones you mentioned too, Alethanim, I think a lot of people sleep on it, even still, like with how powerful it is, and Kvostov, it's so good, dude. Like, ARs are not in a great spot. Kvostov is one of those weapons that, like, it just feels like its own archetype. It's so powerful relative to anything else in its slot or, like, in its archetype. It's like, Kvostov's just insane. So my 4-3-2 is Outbreak Perfected. So we actually had the same first two picks, but just flipped. Again, just insane weapon for general utility. I actually have Bastion at number 3 and then Kvostov at number 2. So Bastion, I think this one so far, yeah, you don't have Bastion on your list yet. I don't know about your number 1 pick, but Bastion, honestly, it was a weapon I was a major hater on for the longest time. I thought it felt clunky. It was super awkward to use. But then they added intrinsic unstop to it, and it basically has trench barrel and 1-2 punch now built into the gun after the buffs. And with prismatic, if you guys at home haven't tried Bastion since it was changed, it is absolutely insanely powerful. It hits like a Mack truck. Like, it has gone from a weapon I just completely ignored to definitely one of the most powerful exotics, in my opinion, in the game right now. And it just synergizes with what the meta is, which is like prismatic heavy builds and punch heavy builds. Melee on every class is really strong right now. So that's one reason I went for Bastion. And then I had Kvostov at 2 as well. The intrinsic shoot to loot, the massive damage buff with ricocheting bullets, and the fact that, like, it's basically just legal aim hacking in the game and is able to ricochet between enemies. It's so good, dude. And honestly, I feel like when exotic primaries are strong, they're hard to come by, but when you get one, they're super valuable. And I feel like Kvostov definitely fills that role. Clearly, you had it 2 as well, so
yeah,
really, really good. What is your number 1 overall exotic?
My number 1 overall exotic is Witherhoard. Witherhoard, like,
wow,
has been Witherhoard has been a staple and probably will forever be a staple, even with the addition of area denials. Like, I think area denials definitely take it down a peg in its, like, uniqueness. But I mean, solo, especially, obviously in a fire team, only one person can use Witherhoard for, like, a damage phase like scenario, but outside of a damage phase, you know, it's just such a good gun. Like, you know, auto loading on a GL that that applies damage over time for like, is it 8 seconds? Like
That's a long
that
time.
is really, really strong. Yeah, and that damage over time like does like pretty significant damage. I think it does like comparable damage to Anarchy. So it's
Wow.
The gun is really good, and it has been really good like forever, and it probably will be forever. It's a timeless staple. That's why I put it at number 1. Again, this is only a solo thing, but if you are solo, Envious Arsenal is like the like reload perk that everyone is using on all of their weapons now.
Yeah.
And this gun with Envious Arsenal is disgusting. Like, it's broken because you stick something with Witherhoard, and then now instead of having to shoot all 3 of your weapons to proc Envious Arsenal, you only have to shoot 2. Like, you only have to shoot the other weapon.
Oh,
basically.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
It's insane. If you watch people doing, like, rotations with Witherhoard and Envious Arsenal, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy.
Damn, I feel like I definitely undervalued this then. That's crazy, bro. I didn't even think about that. It's, yeah, I mean, and it's one of those weapons, too. Like, it's seen a couple nerfs, and it's still really strong, so...
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are solo players or, you know, maybe you're newer to the game, Witherhoard for sure, until you get god rolls of, like, denial frames and things like that, will hard carry you in literally any content. It is absolutely god tier. So my number 1 weapon is actually a Lethanim. You had it at number 3. I just think, like, again, I kind of go back to the uniqueness of weapons. I feel like a Lethanim breaks a lot of rules in the sandbox, and it's so hard to find what it does anywhere else. So, like, number 1, you get the mountaintop movement, which isn't important to everybody, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. It is primary ammo, so you can run it with, you know, other crazy meta options in the energy slot or in the heavy slot, and not ever have to worry about running double special. And it generates ammo. Like, there are activities where you literally run out of ammo, and this is just like you sit there farming ads and farming brick after brick after brick. Like, it literally breaks ammo economy, and it does it as a primary. So it's so good. It's such a unique weapon. I think like I said, it breaks so many rules. I had to put it number 1.
I tried to sort of, like, obviously right now, like, the reason, by the way, for honorable mentions, I did have Bastion as an honorable mention, but the reason I didn't put it on the list is because I feel like it's only really good right now because of Particle. So I tried to, like, take my view outside of the current artifact. Even though we'll have it for a good while longer, like, I like to look at things like how they are right now, but without the artifact, because, you know, you never know what's going to happen in the artifact, like, next season. So
yeah,
in that vein, like, I don't think Witherhoard is great right now, specifically. Like, I haven't used Witherhoard in a while, but it just has been and will forever be, like, such a good weapon. It's so solid that, you know, I just had to have it there.
That's totally valid. So you mentioned one honorable mention. Do you have any others that you want to share real quick? Or
so this gun is not great. It's Osteostriga. I personally love it.
Okay.
It kind of fills the role. It's kind of like a mix between Outbreak and Kvostov, because it does, like, pretty good DPS, like, to, like, major enemies, and also, like, the poison helps you with the ad clear. But after the nerfs, it's kind of bad. But if you run it with PKs, it's very good in my opinion still. But yeah,
I mean, dude, people remember it pre-nerf, bro. Like, that thing was insane.
Yeah. I would have been number 1 pre-nerf, I reckon, for me. Like,
you think so, dude? I would. Yeah, it'd definitely be top 5 as well.
It's so good.
I wonder if Borrow Dyad kind of takes that slot now that we have all the upgrades and things for it now. Like, Borrow Dyad's pretty solid, honestly. I feel like I sleep on it.
I was thinking that, but I haven't used it, like, at all, so I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's totally valid. My honorable mentions, if I had to name a few, would be number 1, Malfeasance. This is really, like, hunter specific with Lucky Pants, but it really is insane in the right situations. Like, so strong, and is really good against taken enemies as well. And I think Aeger's Scepter is also, like, heavily slept on, especially because it synergizes really well with some super meta Warlock builds at the moment. I don't use either of them a ton right now, but I do think they, like, in their niche, are, like, incredibly strong. So those would be my 2, and then I'd probably throw in Witherhoard now. You've convinced me on that. So probably Witherhoard, other third honorable mention. So moving on down, let's go to the energy slot. What is your number 5 pick for exotics in the energy slot?
Okay, so this is probably my like weirdest pick. It's Risk Runner. I just think Risk Runner pops up everywhere. Like, the way I think about exotics is, I feel like almost every exotic has one sort of purpose. Like, a good example is like Parasite. Parasite, or I guess Grand Overture is kind of like that as well, for like Aatrax, for example. If you have like a 3-second damage phase, then it is a no-brainer to run something like that, right? Something that you do one thing of and then you're done, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like Risk Runner fills that a lot. It's just very, you can sort of use it in any encounter where there is arc damage. You can just use Risk Runner and it's good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not like a super conventional pick, but I just find I'm using that gun over and over and over again. And even though it's really old, like, you know, it's still good. It's still good. So
I don't think they've ever buffed it, have they? It's just been that way, like, since launch.
Yeah.
Dude, think about that in the context of launch D2. Like, how strong that would have been in base game, like Red War campaign, relative to like just about everything else in the game. Arc Conductor's crazy. The added like DR you get against incoming like arc damage is absolutely mental. Like you said, in the right situations, it's just god tier. And the chain lightning is basically like Trinity Ghoul before Trinity Ghoul existed. My number 5 is also a primary. I went with Sunshot. I think this is like, it might be one of the best overall feeling exotics in the whole game. Like, after they buffed it and like then we got the exotic 40% buff, like this thing just became an absolute monster. You can kind of just use it with any build and it'll slay. Like, I don't know, I have a personal affinity for this weapon, and I tried, because we're in such a like special slash, you know, like just special ammo meta overall, I guess, like even double special a lot of the times, like I wanted to try and throw in at least one primary option in there. So Sunshot for me is the pick. I feel like it's just so strong, dude. Like, you know, you talk about, we talked about Zauli's Bane last week in the legendary weapon list. We're comparing it to the GOAT. Like, we're comparing it to Sunshot and what Sunshot does. I feel like a lot of times now you kind of have to go out of your way to run it because there are so many other good options in this slot, but if you were to ever throw it on, it'll just perform and be a workhorse for you. So that's my number 5 pick.
So I have a hot take on Sunshot. I think the gun sucks.
What?
I don't know what. Okay, I don't know what happened. Like, it got nerfed or something at some point. Because you're right. Like, when the 40% buff came in, that thing was like crazy good. And then at some point down the line, it got nerfed. And whenever that happens, like, I don't know. I think that gun sucks. Like,
what?
I think. Okay, but here's my thing, right? I think if you're ever going to use Sunshot, you should just use Graviton Lance. Like, I think Graviton Lance is just a better version of Sunshot.
Dude, G-Lance is a beast. Have you used it post-nerf as well when they reverted the rate of fire?
Yes.
And you still like it? Okay.
Still, my justification, or like my, what's the word? Like, my anecdotal evidence for why Graviton Lance is better is, Sunshot used to be the gun that you would use in solo Ron. Like, that was the gun that you would use in Explicator and Nez. And now you only use it in Explicator if you're on Solar, because otherwise it's just worse than Trinity Ghoul.
Yeah.
And you, in my opinion, you don't use it on Nez because you just use G-Lance. It's just, Graviton Lance is just better. That gun's broken. But yeah, anyway, that's my hot take. My hot take is Risk Runner is good and Sunshot sucks. But
that's why they come for the list, bro. That's why they come for the list, man. These debates. So let's do your number 432.
All right, so I've got Ergo Psalm at number 4. It's super, like, I mean, first of all, it's super unique because it's a sword with special ammo in the energy slot.
Yeah.
It has a billion different perk combinations, and some of them are kind of bad, but a lot of them are really good, like Perfect Fifth Caster or anything with the, I forget what it's called, the Risk Runner,
Arc Conductor.
Arc Conductor, yeah.
Yep.
It's just super versatile and very unique, so that's like a no-brainer for me. Number 3, I've got Trinity Ghoul. It's this one was tough. I wanted to put Graviton Lens here instead of Trinity Ghoul, but I just think Trinity Ghoul, the ability to shoot around a corner and kill like a group of ads that you can't even see with a primary weapon is like, it's absurd. Like,
yeah,
Bowgun does it better than Trinity Ghoul if you're talking about primary. Like,
that's
I know
valid.
I said Volstov is the best exotic primary like ad clear weapon. Trinity Ghoul arguably is better, but it's definitely the best for its slot, so that's why I've got it there. And then Choir of One is my number 2 pick. Choir of One is like, it's basically a primary weapon and an energy weapon in the same slot. Like, it's the ability you have to like ADS and have like essentially an auto rifle, but like a juiced up auto rifle. And then, you know, if things get sticky, you hip fire and just absolutely nuke everything. It's
yeah,
I don't know. It's really good. It's very potent.
Dude, yeah, so I have a couple of the same weapons. So my number 4 is Still Hunt. My number 3 is Ergo Sum, and number 2 is Choir as well. So 2 of the 3 actually the same, which honestly we've differed on quite a few. So this is good. So Still Hunt for me, if I had to make an argument for Still Hunt, this would be pretty much Hunter only. But it's like, it's such an outlier in where it's used that it like brings Hunters into relevancy in terms of DPS, and like for solos on precision bosses, like, I mean, you get an extra Goldie for free. Like, it's insane, and you can mix it in with rotations. It's such a strong weapon. If I had to sub this out on a different class, I'd probably say, oh man, I don't know, dude. Like, honestly, as controversial as this may be, I might go Divinity here. As weird as that sounds, even after the nerf, just on how many different unique bosses it's used on. And I think Delicate Tomb is another shout after its buff. I think it's really good in its niche as well now. So those are 2 weapons that I would probably sub in that spot if we're not talking about Hunters, but Still Hunt still is so crazy. Ergo Sum, like you said, it's almost kind of unfair that it's on the list, because it's like 5 exotics in one, which you never really had before. But yeah, like you said, special ammo sword. It has so many different playstyles. If you want to use it in GMs, you go Arc Conductor. If you want to use it as a DPS sword, you go the Perfect Fifth. If you want to support your team, you can go with the Wolf Pack round variant. Like, there's so many different ways that you can go with this thing, and like so many of them that are relevant in different situations. So whether you're solo player, you're trying to enable your team for damage, or you want to be like a big damage dealer and pair it with another sword in the heavy slot, like on up close and personal bosses, like, you can do all of those things. And then at number 2, I also had Choir of One, but I have this with an asterisk on it. And this is because the weapon we're going to be talking about in a second is such an outlier and fills a very similar role that right now I don't find myself ever using Choir of One over that weapon. So again, like, you might be able to sub some of the, like, you might be able to sub Choir out, but if for whatever reason, not saying this will happen, but saying that if it got balanced, the weapon we're going to talk about in a minute, Choir of One would instantly be top of the list again. Because it is such a unique gun, like you said, like the ranged. And it also, dude, it just absolutely, like, that is the epitome of the power fantasy I have with fusion rifles, is like, you shoot it and an enemy, like a huge tanky enemy, just like evaporates on your screen. Like, Choir actually does that. Like, it's so good. Any thoughts on anything I mentioned there?
I feel bad. I feel like I'm just like on your list, but I don't know. I thought of Still Hunt as well, even as like an honorable mention, but it's just too niche. I feel like it's, even on Hunter, it's like, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. It's just, but yeah. I mean, everything else is, yeah. I had the same thought about Choir. I'm like, I don't even use this gun anymore because of I bet no one's gonna guess what gun we're talking about. That's number
Yeah.
one. For
Wait,
both of us.
maybe we should reveal that really quick. This shocking
Yeah.
number one pick in the energy slot, which actually for some people might actually be a little bit of a shocker if they've been a little out of the loop. What is your number one pick in the energy slot?
Drum roll, please. It is Lord of Wolves.
What? No.
Whoa.
Dude.
I mean, we could both talk about this gun, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it does more DPS than the most crackhead, crazy rotation you could think of by just holding down the shoot button. Like, this gun is ridiculous. The only downside of the gun is that it's a shotgun, so it's only good for close range.
Yep.
I guess it also needs precision, but like, for how like unbelievable the damage per second is, it's like,
Yeah.
you can use it for most things and it's gonna be good.
Yeah. To put that more bluntly, as Bog alluded to, this weapon does 50% more DPS than like the best damage rotations in the game, including exotic heavy weapons. So just want you to factor that in. Again, you have to be up close and personal. It is so insane. Like, I released a build video that featured Lord of Wolves. It was it had Song of Flame, the slide warlock, and you just go up and ego every champion, every boss, and you just walk up and you pop your Song of Flame. You're basically immune to damage. You throw Lord of Wolves in the face of the enemy. Their health bar depletes in like 2 seconds before your Song of Flame is out, and you can basically just go through any content in the game. If you guys haven't tried it, go try it. It is the most insane weapon, and apparently this is the intended amount of damage that they want it to do, because Bungie will actually have a tweet will pop on screen. Bungie, someone said, nerf Lord of Wolves, please, and they literally said, why? And I'm not asking for a nerf, but I mean, to be honest, it did so much damage that I thought it was bugged. Like, I don't know about you. Like, I literally thought it was like an unintended change, because it's such like devastating amounts of damage. And to me personally, even though it's kind of dominating everything right now, it is so refreshing to see Lord of Wolves good, but I do feel like maybe it's just slightly overtuned right now. And I don't feel like the range downsides to it kind of counteract how overly disgusting the damage actually is. So yeah, just crazy weapon, man. Crazy weapon.
Definitely OP.
to put it lightly. What about honorable mentions in this slot? I mentioned a few of mine. So for Still Hunt, if I'm subbing out Still Hunt, which objectively, again, like I'm saying, Still Hunt is only on the list for hunters. So if I had to replace that with a weapon in this slot, I would say probably Divinity, maybe Buried Bloodline, and then Delicate Tomb, I think would be my 3 picks. Do you have any on your end that you would sub out?
Oh man, I could do honorable mentions for days on the energy slot. Like, there's so many good exotics. Like, as I talked about before, Graviton Lance. I mean, you can put Graviton Lance where Trinity Ghoul is, and it makes the same amount of sense, I think. Divinity, as you said, I honestly, like, thinking back, I think Divinity should have been where Risk Runner is probably. Top teams will still use that gun in every raid, every day one raid, because it just makes life easy. Like, it's a free debuff, and it gives you a free crit spot. Like, it's just good. It's going to be good no matter what. They could honestly, like, I think if they remove the debuff, it would be bad, but still, like, the free crit spot is crazy in and of itself.
I mean, and it's used on all sorts of bosses right now. Like, when you think of bosses that move or have awkward crit spots, like, what's the first thing everybody says in every LFG raid ever? Anybody got div? And like that's like the number one thing that comes up. It's unique, it's powerful, it's a range debuff, it's working on non-tractable bosses or bosses where, you know, maybe you don't have a hunter in your fire team, or Tether's awkward to apply to the boss because he moves around a lot. Div is always there, and it's so easy to use, and it just makes sure that everybody else's damage, even though you're sacrificing someone's damage for it, is going to be so much better because you're hitting a gigantic bubble crit spot.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, and then of course the Buried Bloodline, like, being able to get Devour on any subclass is crazy. And Merciless is my last honorable mention.
Ooh, that's a great shout. Yeah.
It's very, very good for very niche things, but it's
It's really strong though.
That's my baby, Merciless.
Yeah. All right, let's do heavy slot. We're moving on. We're not lingering anymore. Heavy slot. What is your number 5 pick?
So my number 5 pick is Levy's Breath. I don't think a lot of people use this, but it's just really good. It has intrinsic reserves, so it's got a lot of ammo.
Yep.
It is just like, it's really good like single shot damage, which I talked about before. Like single shot damage, like high single shot damage is just really good. It makes things easy, you know? And yeah, it's just like a solid DPS weapon, like that people sleep on, I feel like, a lot. Like,
Majorly.
Bow, yeah.
I think it's just because it's really just good. It's a little clunky to use, so I feel like people like don't really use it all that much. But longtime viewers of my channel know I am the biggest Levy's Breath enjoyer that you could ever meet. Like, I have it in so many GM guides because, one, it stun locks bosses more than any other weapon. So if you have a boss you're struggling with, like for example the Mars Battlegrounds, when the boss is running around with his axe like chasing you, like literally sprinting at you, Levy's Breath will stun lock him in place. And that's the case for so many bosses. It's a great consistent DPS weapon, like you said. It's safe in day ones where like you're not wanting to kill yourself on your teammates, like with a GL or a rocket, people are strafing in a well or whatever, which like they've changed some of the impact damage on yourself, but like still it's a safe, easy, you can turn your brain off and just shoot at a boss and like it works. So and the intrinsic unstop, they buffed it several times. It's so good now. It brings a lot of utility. Shockingly, didn't make my top 5. It is one of my honorable mentions. I went with Microcosm at 5. I feel like this weapon is unique relative to so many other heavies and fills like a very specific niche in the game, but is also generally good at the same time, I guess, if that makes sense. Really good against Tormentors and the Dread, really good against Subjugators, like obviously amazing on the Witness as well for very like minimal effort. You can put up really solid damage. It's just a great, like, all-around gun that has a place in the sandbox. So I put Microcosm number 5. I originally had Levy's Breath at 5 as my pick, so I totally respect your pick on that one. What are your 4-3-2?
So my 4-3-2, starting with Anarchy, I mean, it's very unique, very high total damage, like damage over time. And has like a good amount of utility. You can just like put anarchy traps in places to pre-kill like enemies or whatever. I just really like it. Tractor Cannon at number 3. I mean, it's a 30% debuff, and it's like the easiest 30% debuff to apply. And you can also extend the 30% debuff with other weakened sources. So Tractor Cannon was a no-brainer in my eyes. It's the only thing in the game that does what it does. And then at number 2, I've got Queen Breaker, which people probably expected this to be number 1. Like I almost did put it at number 1, but I don't know. I tend to underrate the like just straight up DPS weapons. Similar to like why Levy's is to number 5 and Outbreak's number 5 for me. I feel like DPS weapons come and go. But things like Tractor Cannon and Anarchy, like they will be unique, and the thing that does what that thing does best, like forever, sort of thing. So, but yeah, Queen Breaker is obviously the best DPS weapon in the game right now, outside of Lord of Wolves. And I mean, it's better than Lord of Wolves, I guess, because you don't require you can be at any range. But it is like. It's definitely inflated because of particle deconstruction, but even without particle, this gun is like insane. So
I'm gonna do my 4-3-2 really quick because we do have some overlap. So my number 4 is Galley. Obviously has been nerfed a couple times. Doesn't do the damage itself that it used to do, and obviously wolf packs aren't as substantially important as they used to be either. They got nerfed with their damage as well, but it's still such a unique weapon. It's an iconic weapon. It enables rocket-based damage, which rockets are really good right now with Heathen's Vengeance. Just like, I mean, that the origin trait with Heathen's Vengeance and the damage perks that it has and the reload perks, it's just insane right now as well. So, and And rockets come and go out of the meta, I feel like. It's like right now I think it's either rockets or GLs. You can kind of like interchange the two. But I'm kind of leaning towards rockets in terms of legendary DPS at the moment. So Galley, absolute staple. Like you said, one of my favorite points of this whole video that you made was DPS weapons come and go. But these two weapons that I've got coming up, Tractor Cannon and Anarchy, do such unique things in the game that no other heavy weapon can do. So number 3, I have Tractor. Number 2 is Anarchy for me. Yeah, dude, like the 30% debuff, just whenever you need it. You don't have to sacrifice a super for it. You don't have to have someone, you know, like running Divinity for it. Like you can, if you have like a super based DPS option in your fire team, you could have them run Tractor on like a melee build that does decent damage. You can pair this with a fusion. It just enables your team to do so much more damage. And I think people, even to this day, still sleep on Tractor Cannon. Like, obviously not at the top end, but, like, I think the more casual player base definitely doesn't utilize Tractor as often as they should because it makes your life so much easier. And Anarchy, like, probably the best utility weapon in the game outside of maybe, like, Alethanim, maybe? Like, I'm trying to think of another one that would offer the same level of utility. Like you said, you can spawn trap doors. You can stick high-value targets and just let them tick down while you focus on something else completely across the like a totally different part of the room. It's insane on Zoetic Lockset, the one of the most difficult bosses in the most recent dungeon with Sunder Doctrine. And it's just been amazing forever. Like, it's such a good weapon still. So yeah, I completely agree. I think Anarchy and Tractor, the only one we've differed on so far is I guess you don't have Galley on your list yet, unless is that your number 1? Maybe I'm trying to. I'm guessing.
Yeah. That Galley is my number 1. It's a good segue. So I put Galley number 1 because like all the reasons you just said, like it's very unique and you know similar to Tractor Cannon. It just buffs your teammates basically. So it's like a support weapon, but it does so in like such a potent manner.
Yeah.
But the other thing, the reason I put Galley at number 1, like I would have put Galley in like the 2, 3, 4 slot. Actually using Galley as like ad clear is really good. And I feel like people don't know this. My Gallahorn has 160,000 kills on it. It's my highest kill weapon. And that is basically all just from ad clearing. Like that gun, especially in like day ones, is insanely good for ad clear. Because it's kind of like the Trinity Ghoul thing where you can shoot a rocket around a corner and kill like 20 ads that you can't even see, because once the first wolf pack kills something, it'll split into like more powerful wolf packs and it'll just clear out entire rooms. Like the ability to give your team wolf packs is great for DPS and stuff, but the gun itself is actually just insane for ad clear, and that's like why I've put it number 1.
That's a very good point. No, that's totally valid. Yeah. Dude, what a GOAT weapon, honestly. Like, the fact that it's been nerfed twice, I think, and it's still as good as it is crazy. So my number 1, I think it's pretty obvious, is Queensbreaker. You had it number 2. Yeah, just an insane weapon, bro. Like, this is the epitome of what I think exotic buffs should be to bring up underperformers. Like, this should be the standard. It is such a good weapon without, in my opinion, being broken. It is just like, it's so good in its role. Like, you need a ranged DPS option. Queensbreaker's amazing. And it's at a time when, like, linears in general aren't in the greatest spot. Not that they're terrible, but, like, linear fusions just aren't even used very much. And Queensbreaker is just, it kind of, like, is breaking that rule. And it's so good.
Terrible. I think you're understanding. I think linear fusion rifles are really bad.
Listen, man, I was trying to be nice, all right?
But this is the outlier. Like, this is the outlier. This thing is insane. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good, dude. So the main difference on our list was was literally just Microcosm versus Levy's Breath. Do you have any honorable mentions for the heavy slot?
Again, I could go on for days. Like, I think Microcosm is a good like substitute for Levy's Breath. I think it's slightly lower damage, like DPS wise, but it's much like easier. Like Levy's, if you miss a crit, it's very punishing. Whereas Microcosm, you're just shooting a beam. Like I think Microcosm could definitely go where Levy's is on my list, and it's fine.
Mhm.
I just like really highly value that single shot damage.
Yeah.
Parasite and Grand Overture, I would have liked to put one of these on the list because they feel that like burst damage like niche.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are honorable mentions. Xenophage, that's always been a great like
Great call.
hit
Yep.
scan, easy mode, like just shoot stuff and they die weapon. It's kind of like the Soldier 76 of heavy weapons. That's probably a terrible way of putting it, but like it does the job. It's not great, but it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I could go on for days for honorable mentions for heavies, but those are probably the main ones.
Okay, no, I totally get that. So like I actually almost put Parasite number 5, which might surprise some people. I'm sure there's people that are watching this that have never used Parasite or like, you know, used it a couple times and then put it in the vault and never touched it again. It's so strong in its niche. Like whether you're using it in a GM and like, I'm sorry, I do a lot of like end game underlevel content and things like that. They're loaded with champions and stuff like that. So it's a very end game perspective on the gun, but like using it with prismatic or builds that are ability heavy where you're focusing a lot on ability kills, you're building up that times 20 Worm's Hunger stack so fast, and you literally have like a pocket delete button on any enemy in the game. Like it's insanely powerful. It's used on, you know, like obviously like Aatrax. It was huge during Pantheon and like the Pantheon Aatrax. It was so strong there. And like you said, the same thing with Grand Overture kind of fills a very similar niche, but those weapons, the only reason I didn't put it in my top 5 was just because there aren't enough of those situations where I felt like it warranted the position on the list. It's not as versatile and as widely useful, but still incredibly strong and unique. I think people would be so mad if we didn't mention Thunderlord as least as an honorable mention. I'm not a Thunderlord enjoyer personally, but I think it'd be foolish not to mention it on the list. Is like, it's just the easiest option, especially with Bolt Charge now in the game. It's even stronger. And it's a super easy LFG friendly option. You could take it anywhere and it'll do like solid damage. It's not the best in slot by any means, but it's really, really strong. And then Xenophage, like you said, I think is another great shout. Super unique, definitely has its place in the game. Yeah, and overall, I feel like it's another great weapon. So those would be mine. What would be, if you had to say your biggest surprise on my list, and I'll give the biggest surprise on yours to end the video.
It's tough. Like for me, I'm definitely surprised that Still Hunt's on your list. I feel like that's almost a shout out to me. Like I think that gun is not that good, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like,
really?
Yeah, I don't know. That's surprising to me. Actually, no. I knew that you were gonna put Sunshot. That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
But I was ready to shit on it. But,
damn, dude, I'm kind
yeah.
of shocked by the Still Hunt because like I see it used in Solo Witness still as like one of the best overall damage options for Hunter.
Yeah.
It is very niche though. So, and honestly,
yeah.
So mine would probably be Risk Runner and Witherhoard. I think are like tied for my two. I think you made great points on Witherhoard. I think Risk Runner gets outshined a little bit just because Ergosum does very similar things now. Honestly, I feel like if I were to redo my list, I would put Divinity probably at 4. And I don't know if you would swap out Risk Runner to do the same.
I would definitely swap out Risk Runner for Divinity, probably. Yeah. No, yeah.
So maybe we'll do like a quick little edit, like a magical edit. This would be kind of like our final list. I think Div would come in for both of us if we were to swap those weapons. But yeah, like all of these weapons do amazing things. I think the main takeaways for me were, number one, the kinetic slot is much more limited than I even realized. I think Borrow Dyad coming in and having a little bit of a place is a good thing for the game, but they might need to look at buffing a few more weapons like they did with Bastion in that slot. And then the energy and heavy slot are so contested for just god tier weapons that it's really hard. Like usually when you're featuring a prismatic build, it's either your heavy or your energy slot that is featuring that weapon. So I think it's just a testament to how good they are. But any closing notes, Mr. Boggington?
No. I think
all right.
I'm pretty happy with the lists.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, thank you for joining. If you guys haven't already subscribed to Bog or followed him on Twitch, I'll have both of his links down in the description. Please go show him some love, dude. Thank you for taking the time to record today. I appreciate your insight, man. And Marathon Alpha next week, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, do not miss the marathon launch. We'll be there.
Yes, sir. No matter what. Stinky gamer chair mode initiated. Well,
oh yeah.
Have a great day, brother. For everybody at home, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.